Why be vulnerable? Isn't vulnerability weakness? Isn't it cries and tears and victimhood? Vulnerability is power. People in the age of technology are desperate for authenticity, realness, truth, and vulnerability. And if used purposefully, intentionally, and consciously, it is the pathway to a full and meaningful life. In what ways is vulnerability power? Let's find out. So when's the last time you took off your mask? When's the last time you unveiled and showed the world who you really were? Not the one that your family wants you to be, not the one that your coworkers want you to be, not the ones that your friends want you to be, but you. When's the last time you said, you know everybody, love it or not, this is me. I dare you. When's the last time you've done that? If you haven't, it's about time you did. Because life is ticking by like this. So we're wasting our time not being vulnerable. Wasting our time wearing masks and pretending to be someone we're not. And everyone's got the mask on, playing their game of chess. Take them off. Take off the mask. That's when you start to find vulnerability. Shine your light, even when darkness is cast upon you by the microaggressions of our foes. There is light, and the only light might be what's in you. There might not be any light when those microaggressions fall on you and weigh you down. You might have to be the light. The chances are those who are throwing their darts at you and making you feel small and useless are too afraid to face the truth that you are beautiful, you are powerful, you are amazing. That's hard for people sometimes to take in. Wow, I'm in the room with greatness. And so they throw their darts, they try to hide it, or they protect themselves. It might not be conscious, it might not be purposeful, it might not be out of a real desire to bring you down. It might be out of protecting themselves. They're trying to hide from true light. Think about that the next time you feel this. In all of your quirks and oddities and whatever body or face the universe has bestowed upon you, shine, 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 shine. It sounds so corny and bluebirds and rainbows and gumdrops. No, it's not. It's real, and people are hungry for it. They're hungry for the true you, and you can't be the true you if you're not willing to unveil and be the true you. Imagine living in a world without the mask we so carefully construct to navigate the shenanigans of this crazy world. Vulnerability means shedding these layers and showing up authentically you. I don't know, think about it. There are reasons why we hide. Why are you hiding? What are you waiting for to give you permission to come out of your shell and be who you really are, and train others how to be around you, as opposed to you assimilating what they want you to be? It's an important question to ask. What will it take to bring me out of myself, take off my mask, and be me? Yeah, you might be judged. Are you going to live a life that's a lie? Are you going to live a life that's not who you are? How many more years will you assimilate into a world that doesn't love you, even as the you you're trying to be? So it's better to be you, your authentic, vulnerable self, and be judged for that than being judged for someone that you're trying to pretend to be. Don't you think? Now, this is the crosswords where people turn around. They realize how scary it can be to be your vulnerable self and how treacherous it can be. And so we cling to our masks and we hide and we go back to our normal life. I understand that. I'm not judging. It's an observation that we need to make a conscious choice. Are we going to unveil or are we going to hide? Do it consciously, not by accident. While many see vulnerability as a liability, an invitation to be hurt or victimized, I see it as the key to unlocking the true power of human connection, which we all are desperate for. As the bots and robots and all of these technologies come in to drown us in our social media, which is antisocial, we are hungry for deep and true, vulnerable and authentic connection. And as the world moves quicker and quicker towards AI, vulnerability and authenticity is going to be a very valuable and powerful asset to have. So train it now because you're going to need it. We all need it. You might have your heart sliced and diced and put to the meat grinder, and still you love. You may have been fired, demoted, passed over for promotion, knocked aside, or strategically neutralized, and still you dare to depend on your talent. That's in part due to your willingness to be vulnerable and to believe in what you know is true about you. Stick to it and commit to it. Being vulnerable frees us from the shackles of this cancel culture, because if you care more about being authentic and being yourself, who cares what others think? You have to be willing to sacrifice sometimes to be your authentic self. You know, there is impact It's not like the world falls in line, everything is rainbows and gumdrops. I love saying that, by the way. Being you is the most important part of all of that. I'd rather go down in flames being me than rise being someone else. I just would. That's me. Think about that for yourself. Aren't you tired of having to build walls around yourself, burying who you really are for fear of being judged by people who don't know you, don't want to know you, won't be able to understand you, let alone know what it's like to walk and be you? Even if you are trying to pretend to be someone you're not because you think they want that, do you know what they want? Do you read minds? If they tell you what they want, are they being honest? We don't know. It's better to just depend on being yourself. So for better or for worse, I'm me, and sometimes things don't go so well because I'm being me. But when I come home and I'm in my space and I'm with myself, I know that I've lived a life honoring my core values, and sometimes I make people angry, I make them annoyed, I'm trying to honor their core values, I really am, and sometimes I'm going to default to mine, and that might have some roadkill, and that roadkill can be very uncomfortable. I'm being honest that sometimes as I go through the path of my life and be making those difficult decisions of how things are going to unfold one way or another, people are not going to be happy with all of that. But you've got to be true to yourself. You're in the space in your life and deserve to be exactly where you are because you built a life to get there. You are a culmination, a compilation of all of your experiences, and they're teaching you to be a certain way. Your guiding principles and your core beliefs are what's going to steer you. You have to trust those parts of yourself. And I'm really tired of seeing people castrated on social media for being their true selves. I'm tired of seeing them flogged and shamed, especially when that trauma is used as entertainment. And still we scroll and clicking and forward the next thing. We got to stop doing that. That's someone's life, whatever it is. Got to stop shaming, got to stop blaming, got to stop making profits on the trials and tribulations of others. And to do that, we have to all be a bit more vulnerable and take off these friggin' masks, because we're all playing a role in some game, in some play, when in fact we get the power to write our own script, star in our own production, and make the world coagulate around us. That's what I'm asking you to do. By choosing vulnerability, we are choosing to be seen as we really are. It is the ultimate freedom to walk through life as your most authentic self. When I was on stage, moving around, expressing myself through the movement that I was dancing, there was nothing more powerful than that. And I've tried to live in the real world, which is actually more of a stage than the stage world, just saying. It is powerful to self-express and to be yourself, to dare the world to make room for you. It's challenging. And you're going to confront walls and face darts and swords and stabs and backstabbers. Chatter. People are strategically trying to bring you down. But you're being your authentic self. Let them all eat cake. Let them eat cake. While you turn the path to your divine journey. And in doing so, you're daring others to do the same, who will look up to you, who will be inspired by you, either in public or in private, but they will. You may never know who they are, but you are leading the way with your vulnerability and authenticity. As a child, I was bullied and tormented for my love of jacks and Barbie dolls and jump rope. And somehow I found the nerve to still play those games and play with the girls and be around them. I didn't like sports. I didn't like competition. I didn't like playing the alpha male, king of the mountain thing, all that brava. I hated that. I knew even at a young age that fighting for that alpha male, top of the mountain, pinnacle, I felt sorry for them sometimes, thinking that, don't you want to be you? I'm being me. And I was talked about. Believe me, I was really, really tormented. Thankfully, people didn't get into my face too much, but I know, looking back, that they were really, really cruel. People actually have told me many, many years later that they apologized and were sorry that they did not stand up for me when they knew they could see that I was being my authentic self. And deep inside, they were somehow inspired by my courage. It's powerful. Not easy, not pretty, and painful. But now on the other side of it, I know who I am. I wanted to self-express. I wanted to do art. I wanted to sing, dance. I wanted to play the instruments. And that's what I did. And I'm really grateful to my parents for allowing me, giving me the confidence, instilling the love in me to follow my heart and to be my true self. It is why I am who I am today. Do I sound bitter and angry? I can be angry. I can be bitter sometimes. But I'm aware of that. I make a choice to, I'm going to be angry right now. I'm going to think about this and be mad. I could burst with rage, having endured the torment and darts and knives and blades of those who were too weak to stand in their own light and honor mine. Yeah, I could be. And sometimes I am. Sometimes I let myself just be mad, but I use the anger as fuel, not as retaliation, not as weapons to get back at people. They help carve my life and help teach me resilience and the beauty and power of vulnerability and authenticity. I have felt firsthand. Now that I'm there, I'm not going to let anything take it away. So I am inspiring you and challenging you and inviting you to continue this journey of self-reflection, self-awareness, and taking off the mask and showing your vulnerable self and daring others to do the same. Challenge them with your beauty and your authenticity and your power of vulnerability. Most of all, sometimes when I feel this anger, I'm angry at myself. I'm angry at myself for believing the lies, for feeling that something was wrong with me, that I was being teased and tormented because I was the bad guy. I was some crazy, weird thing that wasn't worthy of their love and appreciation. Yeah, I believed them for a long, long time. And sometimes, if I'm not careful, it's easy to fall into, well, is it me? And what am I doing? It's important to ask the question. This is what self-reflection is. It's important to ask yourself, well, is it me? What am I doing to contribute to the drama at hand, right? What am I doing to contribute to the solution? And then once you ask that question honestly and not judge the answer, you're left with this, wow, it wasn't me. It wasn't me. It was people who were just unaware that they were protecting themselves. You almost can't blame them for the pain they were hiding and the horrors they were facing in their lives that they were taking out on you. You know, it's this life is something else. Be on the roller coaster and live in it and love it and be in it. Don't miss it. Because through the good, the bad, the ugly, it is the life that you have and the life that we're living. Don't wish it away. Don't wish away now. Be in the now, hope and aspire for what you want. But don't wish away this to be there. It'll come eventually, in whatever form it's going to come. But don't miss the now, wishing for whatever. The real shame is that I didn't realize all along I was king. As are you, king or queen or the royal they, whatever you call yourself. You are of royal blood, divinity, a child of the universe, worthy of all of your hopes and dreams. You are on a divine path that's clouded by stuff and shenanigans like the noise outside my window. Because New York City is loud and annoying. It's going to cover you with stuff. And you cannot be deterred from your path, whatever that is, and you can't know that path if you don't know yourself. You can take the feedback and critique of others and guidance and mentorship for those that you trust who are actually have your best interest at heart. And you can take the feedback of your enemies and learn from them too, because I've learned from my enemies. I have learned from them and carved your path. You can do this. But don't be blind to who you are, and don't judge who you are, and don't dislike who you are. You can be annoyed by yourself sometimes, because I'm annoyed by myself all the time. I can't say that I love myself, but I'm liking myself now, because there's power in being who you really are and accepting who you really are. So I dare you to keep trying to do that. You've given away way too much power to those around you who need your subservience. To follow their dissolving gossamer dreams. Be judged. Let them create their narrative about you. They only do so because they need to make their lives make sense. Without you upon which to throw their darts, their lives mean nothing. You decide if you want to be their dartboard. Vulnerability paves the way for what we really want. Let society mock your openness, equating emotional exposure with weakness. Let them carry on and do their shenanigans as they will. They're wrong. It takes courage to reveal your insecurities and even greater strength to face possible rejection or ridicule. That's where real courage is, in taking the bombardment of hate around us, if you dare to be yourself. If everyone embraced their vulnerabilities, I believe we'd live in a much more empathetic world. But of course, naysayers would argue that the world would be impractical and overrun by emotions. Maybe it would be, but we are emotional beings, quick to club our enemies to death. This is not a new thing. We have literally clubbed our way to civilization. Chopping the enemy there and chopping there, and I will run the world! Chop, 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 bang, 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 bang. Blood, 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 blood. Everywhere we look. The riches of our countries are because millions and millions of people have been bludgeoned to death, either by words, or by bullets, or literally by clubs. So yeah, we live in an emotional world. So it's going to be a good idea for us to really be in touch with our vulnerabilities, and therefore, in doing so, be in touch with the vulnerabilities of others. And then there's New York City. You know, when you have your music that loud, it says more about them than me. I can hear your music in my apartment, the windows are closed! Really? That speaks to a lack of emotional intelligence. That's more than just I want to have music. They know the music is loud. That says a lot about that person. When you hear that music blasting way outside the car, into the apartments of others, my windows are closed, and I can still hear your music. Okay, I'm back. I'm sorry. So I'm not suggesting society void of pain and sorrow and challenges. I'm asking for a society of people that are on the journey to knowing themselves better, so that we are aware of how we impact others, and we are aware of how we can bring others into our world and remind ourselves that we're one planet, one tribe, one people, all on the journey to live a fulfilling life for our families, friends, and loved ones. We're all the same family. The world is yours. Dive in. And if someone takes the time to judge you for being you, that is more about them than about you. So I'm calling on your greatest self to come forward into the light and cancel the cancelers, being you, and dare the world to follow you in your vulnerability, authenticity, and truth and love of self. Be you. Be authentically and shamelessly you. And let the world follow your lead. They need you to be your authentic, vulnerable self. We're all waiting for you. You decide. Please like, share, spread the word of love and light and self-awareness, self-love, and let's make this world better, one heart at a time, starting with our own. See you there.